alienation from God. They are darkened in their understanding, alienated from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them due to their hardness of heart. Hebrews chapter 2, it mentions the great salvation. This is the salvation of all people around the world. And today we're going to begin a short study of the doctrine of salvation. We need to understand what we are being saved from. Well, Adam, he rebelled against God, and since then all those born since are born in sin. Separation from God means alienation from happiness and life and glory and power, etc., etc. Alienation means judgment and death. Salvation means that we have been delivered from the graveyard of death. Salvation is when Jesus has taken us to the garden. We're talking about God's garden in heaven. You know, if we feel separated in a way from a person and later we see them, we can feel calm and friendly towards that person. And same with God. Even though we are fully reconciled to Him and His attributes, knowing that He loves us and has mercy on us and never changes. That's His attributes. But, Jesus finished this and reconciled us to Him. We have been fully reconciled. The work there has been done, yes, but we still feel a little alienated in some ways. Why? Because the presence of sin, we sin again and again. What about the person who is not saved, not converted to Christ? Well, the Bible clearly tells us that this person is fully estranged from God, no contact with God. His thoughts are continually evil. The Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intention of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. They were dead in their sins, and you were dead in the trespasses and sins. It's true that there are some non-believers who do good things, yes. And they are outwardly good things, but they are not by the standard of God's law. They are outside that standard, so they're not really good deeds. The reason that they're doing these things is because they want to please themselves, or because they want the approval of other people. It could be because that growing up just doing these things, became a habit to them. There's more and more, the list goes on of reasons why. But doing good things for God? No, that's not reason. It's for themselves. Jesus talks about the depravity of man, meaning inward sins. If you then who are evil know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask Him? Salvation, it means deliverance. And the Hebrew word for salvation is yasha. Where's that come from? Well, the root word means to put into a large open place. Well, now how's that connected? Well, we see the connection through the garden. That's a picture of God's garden. Heaven's what we're talking about. Perfect, a large open place. The name Joshua, it means salvation. And that's perfect because Joshua, he led the Israelites into the promised land. Joshua actually put them into the large open place. The name Jesus, it comes from the Hebrew word Yeshua, and it means salvation, same as Joshua does. Yeah. Jesus, He delivered us into heaven, and that's salvation. Let's apply this to our Christian life. Well, salvation, first of all, is not about merely improving ourselves. So what is it about? Well, it's reconciliation. It's reconciliation between man and God. If you see a person, this person says that they are a Christian, well, how do you know? How do you know that he's a Christian? Well, it's not about the outward wonderful life that he has. No, it should be a life of prayer and communication with God. Question: does your life show a life of reconciliation to God? Hello. I've often noticed there's two different kinds of people. The first one is good and nice and polite and helpful. And the second person, he's knows he's a terrible sinner before God, and he prays for God, asking forgiveness for his sins. Or he's excited about God, and he talks about God and about his prayers, God answering prayers. The first person, now he's nice and polite, helpful to his neighbors, but he doesn't say anything about God, or not much talk about the Lord being good. He doesn't say thank you to the Lord. Nothing. Which person do you think has been reconciled to God? The second person. The other person, he's likely not. He's likely separated from God. No contact between them whatsoever. Corn deal.